Security Talk 12, April the 8th. Finally got around to doing one in the weekend. Kicking things off, we have some political news, so if you're especially turned off by that, maybe you should skip the first two topics. But unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably aware that the United States government recently voted in favor of repealing a privacy law which protected your data from ISPs. And Trump signed off on it. So now it is legal for ISPs to sell your browsing data, pretty much anything that they collect or log, and that is a major concern for several citizens. In response, there is this petition, and if you live in the US and you're concerned about this, I would strongly recommend signing this. One of our viewers was nice enough to send this to me, so be sure you check this out. It's nowhere near the target yet, and I doubt if it's going to work, but, well, it's worth a shot. I'm not going to make another 1984 reference, no. Okay, moving on to the next topic. This is not even a cybersecurity topic. It's a security topic, all right. So United States recently launched a missile strike against a Syrian airbase, which has spiked a lot of controversy. Now, the reason US did this, according to them, is in response to the recent chemical or gas attack by Assad on civilians. Now, I think there are two differing viewpoints here, or two differing versions of the story. So I believe the authorities at US are saying that this attack was orchestrated by the prevailing government, which is Assad's. I don't understand why they would do that, though. Now, obviously, there is a different version being propagated by Russia and Assad, that this attack was not carried out by them, it was an accident. They simply ended up destroying chemical weapons which were stored by the terrorists, and as a result, this whole fiasco happened. So I don't know whom to believe. Both the stories sound a little bit difficult to digest. I mean, if you think about the US version, it doesn't make sense why Assad would want to do this. And if you think about the Russian or Syrian version, Assad regime version, again, like, how often does that happen? Like, you accidentally take out a chemical weapon containment and it just ends up killing so many civilians? It's unlikely too. So regardless, it gives people things to worry about and keeps the whole Cold War going. If for once the international community could decide which side to go on, things would be so much easier and this mess would have been solved long ago. But unfortunately, nobody wants to give the other party the upper hand, so now it's Russia, now it's US, they're just gonna stay there neck and neck, and it's a mess. Let me know your thoughts on that. If you can't change your mind, if you're not open, then don't bother. But yeah, if you're surveying this purely from an objective standpoint, I'd love to know your thoughts, which is part of the reason I included this topic. I just couldn't help it, guys. Come on, I mean, it's stuff's happening. So now we'll move on to more proper news from Kaspersky. Kaspersky have released a long article talking about DDoS attacks and how they're being marketed and how profitable they are. According to them, 95% of cyber criminals make profit off of DDoS. And they have these long-term plans, like lifetime plans, monthly plans that you can pay for. If you thought ransomware as a service was bad, take a look at this. It's a thriving industry. And I can understand why it works. I mean, taking somebody's website down is a nice privilege to have. It seems to be one of the first ways in which people display their opposition. And with IoT devices becoming so common, tons of security cameras and stuff, it just makes this really easy for the cyber criminals. So once they have a botnet, there are very few recurring costs and they can service a lot of customers, or quote-unquote customers, because that's not a real service, obviously. And now that the Mirai botnet is on Windows, I'm sure they'll have a lot more computers to play with. So it's a terrible time to be running online business or websites, especially if it's based on security and stuff, because you're going to be the first target. In fact, nowadays, they don't even care about specific targets anymore. They just take down entire DNS servers, and that has widespread impact. So more trouble ahead. But Kaspersky do have really detailed statistics on this. Kudos to them for doing this research. DDoS as a service, I think you should take a look at this. Next topic, fileless UAC bypass using Windows Backup and Restore. So the very thing that you would expect would save you from ransomware could end up delivering it to you. Now, this is not really a huge concern because this particular attack is only possible if the attacker is already a local user or in your local user group. So it's only possible if one of the machines on your network is already infected, then this is a possible attack vector for the other machines. So it's not that big of a deal, but then again, I mean, come on, Windows Backup and Restore utility, the irony. Google just smashed Symantec for their horrible quality control on assigned certificates. It turns out the initial 127 flawed certificates list was expanded to at least 30,000 in a few years, and Google Chrome is having no more of it. So they're really concerned about their own security and the trust that users have in them. And as a result, they're dumping Symantec, and this is how they're doing it. Their plan is a reduction in the accepted validity period of new certificates which are going to be assigned, and eventually they're going to have an incremental distrust spanning a series of Google Chrome releases, which will require even existing certificates to be replaced or revalidated. So yeah, terrible QA from Symantec. What else is new? Well, ransomware, that always keeps coming. We have the Matrix ransomware. It's not exactly new, but I believe we have some new campaigns for it. So there's nothing especially uncommon about this ransomware, but the focus here is on the delivery method or the attack vector, and we'll be talking about that a little bit. As you can see, first of all, this is the ransom screen that you're going to get. All your important data is encrypted, blah, blah, blah. And the reason is your IP address was used to visit websites containing, you know what. So, well, another one of these tricks. It doesn't even try to look like a legitimate government email or something. It just looks like shit. I doubt if anybody's going to believe this. Hurry up or you will be arrested! Exclamation mark, exclamation. That's totally how a legal order is carried out. But anyway. It's spread via exploit kits, as usual, and this is the additional script that you're going to see in pages that are infected with this. It does have an interesting way of spreading to other computers. Now, you might have seen this before, so I wanted to bring this up. Some people may have noticed this and might be wondering what's going on, so this is how a lot of malware goes about spreading itself these days. So it creates a shortcut of important things, like let's say your videos, your documents, and deletes the original shortcut. So as a regular user, you're going to think, well, this is probably what I have to open. And then when you double click it, instead of actually just opening the folder, it opens the folder, but along with that, it executes a program. So every time you try to open my computer or my documents or any of the usual folders using those shortcuts, it is also going to be launching the ransomware payload. And that's how it's going to propagate to other computers on the network. So if you're seeing any weird shortcuts lately, just check the target. And if it's something weird, then don't open it because it'll get you infected. So that's going to be it for this security talk. I decided to keep this one really short. I'll try to do these more often in shorter episodes. I think that's how it'll be easier for you guys to follow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And oh, by the way, I'm working on an entire revamp of the TPSC design scheme. So if any of you are professional designers or you're real good enthusiasts, then if you want to help out or voluntarily contribute, send me an email, leo@thepsecuritychannel.com. Now, only do this if you're good at it because, well, I already know how to design basic stuff. Ideally, I want somebody on this who is more experienced and better at it than me. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the security talk. Don't forget to subscribe to the PC Security channel. And as always, stay informed, stay secure.